Say the word door out loud. Now say it again, and again, and again. 20 times, slow, no rushing. Somewhere around the 12th door, something breaks. The word stops being a word. It flattens into a dumb little noise your mouth is making for no reason. Two shapes and a sound, floating loose. And for one strange second, you are honestly not sure it's even spelled right. You have done this, maybe with spoon, maybe with your own name, whispered too many times in the dark until it belonged to a stranger. Maybe while proofreading something, when a plain word like house suddenly looked foreign on the page, and you had to glance away just to make it a real word again. It feels like a glitch, like your brain skipped a frame and let you see the empty space behind the picture, and people get quietly scared of this one. It feels like a tiny crack, a hint that something upstairs is loose, wearing out early. So here is the first thing, right up front, so you can breathe. It is the exact opposite of that. That little collapse is not your brain failing. It's your brain working perfectly. You just caught it in the act. The thing has a name. Semantic satiation. Say a word enough times in a row, and its meaning quietly drains out, leaving only the husk, the letters, the sound, the arbitrary marks. The meaning doesn't die. It just steps out of the room for a few seconds. Rest, look away, and door clicks back into a door like nothing ever happened. So that's the small answer, the one that calms you down. But it opens a much bigger, weirder question. The real mystery isn't why the word broke. It's why your brain chose to break it. Because it did choose. And to feel why that's unsettling, you have to sit inside the moment it happens.
Yeah, so it's this tiny vertigo, right? You're saying a word you've known since you were 3, and mid-breath it turns to gibberish in your own mouth. And there's this flash of, wait, is that even a real word? Your whole life you've stood on language like solid ground, and for 1 second the ground goes see-through. You feel briefly unmoored, like nothing means anything, and you're just an animal making mouth sounds. Then it snaps back, and honestly the relief is a little too big for what just happened.
Okay, so that wobble, that's real, that matters. Hold on to it, because the feeling is your only clue that something under the hood just moved. And here's the part that turns the whole thing around. What you felt as a break was actually a feature. It's one of your brain's oldest, smartest tricks, running out in the open where you could finally see it. The trick is called habituation, and you already live inside it all day. Right now you are wearing socks. Feel them? You didn't. Not until I said it. Your feet never stopped touching them. Your brain just stopped telling you. A fridge hums in your kitchen, and you hear nothing until it clicks off and the silence is suddenly loud. That's the same move. When a signal stops carrying new information, your brain turns the volume down on it. Semantic satiation is just that trick pointed at a word. Say door enough, and it becomes as boring to your brain as the socks on your feet, so it stops paying to hear it. And that word, paying, is not a metaphor. There is an actual cost, and there is something cold in your head keeping the books.
Right, so here's what's really going on. Meaning is expensive. Every time you understand a word, your brain fires a whole circuit to pull the concept up out of storage. And that burns glucose, real fuel, real energy. Now you say door for the 40th time. It's the same word. Zero new information. So the accountant in your skull looks at the ledger and asks one question. Why am I still paying full price to decode this? And it does the ruthless thing. It cuts the power to that one line. No panic, no damage, just triage. Your brain would rather let a word dissolve than waste a single spark of fuel on something it has already completely understood.
And that's the cold heart of it. Your brain didn't forget the word. It decided the word was no longer worth the electricity. But notice how precise the cut is. That's the beautiful part. When door dissolves, the rest of your language is completely fine. You can still talk, still read this, still think in full sentences. Only that one overfired little unit got muted. It's local, it's surgical, it's temporary. So what actually fatigues? Down at the wiring. Not your eyes, you still see the letters, sharp and clear. Not your ability to read, every other word works. What tires out is one specific link, the tiny bridge between the shape of the word and its meaning. Fire that same bridge over and over, and it briefly dampens its own signal, like a light switch flipped too fast too many times until the circuit trips. The letters still arrive. The meaning just can't cross over to meet them. That's the whole ghost. A tripped bridge, resetting. And people noticed this a long time ago. Back in 1962, at McGill, a researcher named Leon Jakobowitz James pinned it down with Wallace Lambert. They gave the ghost its name, semantic satiation, and they proved it does real work. Repeat a number word enough times, they found, and afterward you're actually slower at doing math with that number. Let that land. You can fatigue the meaning of 7 so hard that 7 plus 2 gets harder for a beat. The concept didn't go anywhere, you just briefly wore out the door to it. Which is a strange and slightly thrilling thought, that a meaning can get tired, that the words in your head are not permanent stone but living wiring that needs rest, and it means the moment you feel most broken, the gibberish moment, is really you standing at the edge of your own machinery, watching a maintenance light blink.
And that's what the relief actually is, when it comes back. It's not just, oh good, normal again. It's your whole reality quietly reforming under you. For 1 second language felt arbitrary, just marks and noises you'd all secretly agreed to believe in, and then belief rushes back in, and door is a door again, warm and obvious and yours. You didn't lose your mind for that second. You just saw, for once, how much of what feels solid is actually your brain agreeing to keep the lights on.
Right, and once you've felt that, you can't unfeel it. Because now comes the thought that should follow you out of this video. If your brain will silently mute a word the second it decides that word is redundant, what else is it muting right now, without asking you? Because this isn't a rare glitch reserved for words, it's the default setting of everything you experience. You have a whole family of these little collapses. There's the doorway effect. You walk into the kitchen and instantly forget why, because crossing the threshold told your brain, new room, dump the old task. There's jamais vu, that eerie flash when a familiar face or your own front door feels somehow fake and new. Semantic satiation is really just jamais vu aimed at language. Same trick, same brain, deciding what's worth keeping loaded and what to quietly let go. So sit with what that means. Every second, your brain is deleting the hum of the fridge, the weight of your clothes, the ordinary words on ordinary signs, muting everything it has already filed under nothing new here. You are not seeing the world. You are seeing a heavily edited version of it, trimmed for fuel, curated by an accountant you never hired. Most of the time, that editing is invisible. It's the whole reason your day feels smooth instead of overwhelming. But say door 30 times, and for 1 honest second, the editing slips. The word falls apart in your hands, and you're left holding the raw thing underneath. Arbitrary marks your mind had agreed to believe in. You didn't break language, you didn't glitch, you just saw the machinery under it, humming, thrifty, and older than you are, and then it quietly closed back up and handed you the word again.